Five Nights at Freddy's came out almost 12 years ago now, and had pretty basic lore that was solved by most people within a couple months. A guy killed 5 kids and then stuffed them in animatronic suits. However, even in 2014, people were pushing their disgusting headcanons onto pure, kind-hearted Freddy Fazbear, and created abominations like the Nazi eugenics theory. So now that we have enough Freddy to write a college dissertation on Fazgoo, I think it'll be interesting to go back and see what people hallucinated about FNAF 1. I'm starting off with the most famous person ever's best researched theory, the Chuck E. Cheese murder theory.
Go back to the real life story. Yes, there were 5 people shot that night in Chuck E. Cheese, which matches the 5 victims in Freddy's story, but
for some reason, Maddie Paddy here decided to make the world's first true crime YouTube video, and talk about a mass shooting at a Chuck E. Cheese in 1993. He even compared the victims' characteristics to that of the animatronics.
Bobby, the one from the kitchen, miraculously survived the shot to his jaw. After he was knocked to the floor by the bullet, he went limp, played dead, to avoid the killer coming back to finish the job. And what else is limp and appears to be a lifeless, empty suit in the game? Golden Freddy.
I get what he was going for, and it was done with a little bit of tact, but I find it really funny that he decides to spend 2 minutes on actual confirmed lore, and then talk about how Bobby is Golden Freddy for 10 minutes. It takes true bravery though, to not only compare Freddy Fazbear to a woman shot dead, but to also pose dream theory, claiming that the security guard you play as is going through nightmares about the people he killed coming back in animatronic form. The only thing pointing towards this is Golden Freddy being all spooky and mysterious, but dream theories are by and large boring as hell and ruin any impact of a story for me. This is different from confirmed dreams like Scrooge's dream in A Muppet's Christmas Carol, because they are the story and lead to his character journey, and that's why it's the best movie ever made. This theory is not true. This next one's less of a theory and more of a hoax, but I find Sparky the dog extremely interesting. He comes from a Reddit post shortly after FNAF 1's release, showing a spooky secret animatronic dog peeking out of a back room. Normally a hoax like this would come and go like the lie that the cupcake blinks your address in Morse code in the office. But Sparky was shared so much he became a star of his own. Sparky has more fan art than huge players like the GOAT Melted Chocolate Bonnie. He is a fucking star. He's fucking beautiful. He even made his way into FNAF World Refreshed among other famous fan games. Look at his cute little mug. I hear Sparky's getting his own game in the Fazbear fanverse, but keep it on the down low. I don't want my insider getting skinned alive in the basement of the FNAF factory. This theory is not true. Don't worry now, you Foxy lovers, myself included. Turns out he's a good guy. He just cares for us deeply and sees how we're doing if we don't enter the cameras for a while. He's so worried in fact that he screams in horror when he gets to our office and gives us a literal heart attack. As it so happens, I believe this theory completely to this day, and I dare you to disprove it. If you even try, we're gonna have problems. True. So, we're looking at a game with 2 confirmed human characters, so obviously one of them must be the murderer from the newspapers. So many people thought it was Phone Guy because he works for Fazbear. Many others, like MatPat, also thought you were the murderer because Golden Freddy says it's me, as in it's me, the one you murdered. Seems kinda silly now, but they were working with sticks and stones while we're working with the Mimic and God David. Not true. I'd also like to mention how the Living Tombstone's famous FNAF 1 song titled Five Nights at Freddy's Song gets the lore at the time 100% correct, and made the creative decision not to reference real shootings in the writer's room. A big controversy back in 2014 was Freddy Gate, as the first cancelled fictional character due to his tendency to go into the girl's bathroom like a fucking creep. So this spawned the Freddy is a girl spirit theory, which maybe, but probably not. It was probably just to have him hide in the shadows as he moves towards the office. Not true. Next theory is that Golden Freddy is hiding in the kitchen. We got no idea. Maybe. Of course, because Golden Freddy is so spooky, there were numerous theories about what makes him different. One of them is that the phone guy is Golden Freddy, which is based on his death in the Night 4 phone call. And the noises in the Night 5 call sounding like some shit Golden Freddy would say. We know this isn't true now, but I can kinda see the logic. Not true. Second to last, I'll talk about a question still unconfirmed to this day. Who the hell did the Bite of 87? Back then, there were three main theories: Freddy, Foxy, and Golden Freddy. Freddy was based on the big handprint on his head as well as being the main guy, because if anyone, it'd be more likely a kid would shove their head in his mouth. The handprint on his head just came with the fabric texture Scott used though, and the other evidence isn't evidence. The evidence for Foxy was that his jaw was pretty wide and that he's in the closed pirate cove, presumably because he did something real bad. Again, pretty circumstantial, especially since I'm pretty sure the FNAF 1 location has already been closed for months or even years by the time you play. Golden Freddy was the last, and again was mainly just because he's real special and his jaw is left dangling open. All of these are pretty weak and very unlikely because of information we find out in FNAF 2. Not true. For my last trick, I'll pull the craziest theory maybe ever created, and one that isn't likely to be beat. The FNAF 1 Nazi eugenicist theory. The video that this comes from is one of the craziest things I've ever had the intense pleasure of seeing. Giving a short rundown, he tells a fanfiction about how the FNAF 1 location used to be a lab that a Nazi scientist and American scientist used for the experimentation of eugenics and attempting to live forever. What I find really funny is that he doesn't explain how he came to these conclusions, despite the opposite of them being said in game. I really recommend you just watch his theory in full, because he goes into way more detail than I could possibly get across, and also kinda predicts how Remnant is shown in the books. I'll give this a not true, but I would love to see the alternate reality in which William was a eugenicist instead of just a pizza murderer. So, all in all, I think some of the greatest theories ever put forth came from FNAF 1, and I hope we get a reboot to make them all true at once. See ya, fellas.